um, I think when we take time, to honor those that have come before us, that can be a very personal thing as far as all the people in your life, both your actual ancestors and just your spirit ancestors of people that you've loved in your life that aren't your relatives. Um, but even beyond that, which is important to take time to reflect on all that has brought us here. So I'm going to guide us in a little bit of a meditation to start, to kind of take us through that gratitude practice of being blessed by our ancestors and feeling that connection, and that we're standing on the shoulders of giants. But I would encourage you as we go through to think about it in multiple ways, both the people that you've lost that you love. And, Christine, I'm thinking of you in particular with losing your son this year. Um, but also, and Maggie with your mom, right? I mean, not your mom, your dad. Sorry, your dad. I meant your dad. Sorry. Um, but the ways in which let me gather my thoughts here for a moment. Okay, so there's many streams that you can think about this. So yes, the honoring of your loved ones, but let's also try to remember, as women, all the people that have come before us who have paved ways for our rights and our capacities to have equality in our day today. Um, our yoga lineage, all the people that have paved this path for us, and not just our yoga lineage, but all your spiritual lineages. So whatever your beliefs are, whatever your religious practices are, who has come before you to carve that path for you, and then your own personal mentors in your life, from your childhood on, like people who have really inspired you or helped you cultivate yourself in some way. So when I say let's honor those who have come before us, let's try to think of all of those realms and many more that I'm not mentioning. So it's not just a day of remembering the dead and remembering those who have passed on before us, but also just all that has helped to support you to become who you are today. All right. So as you close your eyes and sit up straight and tall, um, get your proud vibe on. Like if you were meeting your loved ones today that you haven't seen in a while, put on your Sunday best and your posture, right? So that you can come to meet their memory with a lot of open-hearted and present-minded presence. So as you close your eyes and feel the stoutness of your heart open up, let's just take a moment to drop into your body first. Just feel into the groundedness of your body. Let's have a deep sense of gratitude for just this vehicle that takes us around all day long, right? So we are spiritual beings having a physical earthen experience. So let's have appreciation for our physical vessel. Sense into your breathing, this pranic life force that connects us deeply. To feel yourself start to be here now. Sometimes it takes a little while to be here now. Maybe your thoughts have been all over the place today. Maybe you've been running around. So just let yourself ground and be present. And let's start with the very first person that comes to your mind. So it could be someone that you've lost recently, it could be someone that you've lost a long time ago, but someone personal to you. Let's see if we can just hold this person in your mind's eye and recognize that even though there's sorrow in the loss, that their memory is a blessing, that they still ripple out into the world. Their actions still ripple out into the world through you. So as you commune, just see if you can sense a deep uh, energy of gratitude. Whatever this person has supported you and inspired you and helped you in some way, just offer your gratitude to them. And maybe there's others that you would like to offer your gratitude to. So it doesn't have to be a welcoming only of one. You can have a welcoming of many. Allow your shoulders to soften. Check in with your physical body. Sometimes a sense of grief or loss can change our shape, our physical shape, and bring us into a more closed posture. So stay open. And then move beyond your your personal tribe, that you've known and loved, into the depth of your ancestors. So think about your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, your great great grandparents, all the traveling of these people through time. You wouldn't be here today without them, literally. A lot has had to happen for you to land on this planet. Let's hold a deep sense of gratitude for all the histories of your genes, the cells in your body, and all the beings, the people that have shaped you over the course of time. Move beyond into your spiritual lineages and all the gratitude that we can share for those who have come before us to pave the way. If you have a specific um, person in mind, someone who has guided you through your life spiritually, maybe from your childhood, maybe from your church or your synagogue or wherever this person has come into your life from. Let's just kind of have a deep bow of gratitude toward those who have shown us the light. And it can be many, that, it's usually not one person. So deep gratitude for all of our spiritual guides. Anyone else that you would like to call in? Could be a singular person, maybe someone you've never met, but you've read their work or you've been inspired by them in some way. Maybe it's just the sense of all the women that have come before you, or all the hardship of people that have gotten you to where you are. Whatever it is, just have one final moment of just sharing in your gratitude of your ancestry, all the people who have shaped you. Let's bring our hands together and let's bow into these forces, seen and unseen, that support us and guide us. Relax your hands and let's find our way onto our mat. I'm sure I've shared this before, but when my children were young, I was trying to figure out a way to get rid of the candy, right? The Halloween candy. And since they were little, we've had this tradition of leaving the candy under a tree in the backyard, and we light candles and sing songs and have memories of those who have passed before us. And we leave the candy as an offering to all of our ancestors. And then magically in the night, the ancestors come and take the candy and leave a small little gift under the tree. And it's just been such a great tradition. And I just share it because if any of you are trying to figure out a way to help others have candy issues, this is a good one. All right, so let's stretch and lengthen and reach and extend and open and wiggle your fingers and your toes and be so excited and happy that you have this body that's taking you around today. All right, and then draw your knees into your chest and let's rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. All right, and then let's have a moment to kind of circle your knees and feel a sense of deep ease come across your back and your sacrum. Change the direction, seeing if you can feel that rhythmic movement across your sacrum. And then open up your knees away from the center and just see how that swirl of movement of your hip joint feels. Right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and feel free to wiggle around in your toes and move around in your ankles. Feel a good deep compression in your knee. Let your head relax, soften your shoulders. And change sides, left knee into your chest, right leg long on the ground, and feel that movement of your feet again. And as always, every time you feel a new sensation, welcome sensation and a sense of gratitude for all the ways that we feel and move our bodies, that we inhabit our bodies. All right, so stretch your limbs to a star on the ground and reach wide, wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then as you're ready, exhale and draw your knees into your chest, pick up your head. And let's repeat that one more time, expanding wide, feeling that deep stretch in the body. Exhale and draw in, knees to your chest. Relax your head down. Let's grab on to the tops of your feet or the backs of your knees, a little bit gentle, happy baby posture, and maybe a little bit of rocking if that feels good in your body. Maybe a little stillness if that feels better in your body. Feel a compression of your hip joints, your knees, and a deep opening in the lumbar spine. And then release that. Stretch your limbs out one more time, feeling that extension. Exhale, knees into your chest. Let's put our feet on the ground, arms out wide like a T. Windshield wiper your knees. And if you want to do a different twist, that's fine too. So maybe, you want to go a little deeper, or maybe just the simple movement feels really good. So just try to let your spine twist open in a way that feels really nice in your body right now. Just kind of warming up that vibe of twisting again. All right, and then eventually find the star on the ground and draw your knees in and roll to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. As we come onto all fours, enjoy, see what it feels like to have some cat-cows start to flow through your body. What a gift cat-cows are, something so simple, but really quite profound in the way we get to just ripple through each vertebrae. So just notice what feels good. Is there a place that you get to in your spine where you're like, oh, thank God I'm doing this? All right, so just find your way, arching and rounding the spine, taking your time to feel your vertebrae. Then anything you want to do with your spine, you can wag your tail or circle your pelvis, move around in a way that serves and feels really good.
right, stretch back towards child's pose and walk those hands out in front of you, feeling a deep reach in your body. A full breath here. Walk the hands to one side or the other and just enjoy this opening of our sides. It's such an important area of the body to get free. We have a lot of room here to breathe deeply. So anything that helps you find that deep quality of breathing is a good stretch to do in your body. You get so caught up in our diaphragms without even knowing it. Let's walk over to the other side and feel that deep reach here. Open up your ribs, drop some weight into your sit bones and melt your skull. Come back to all fours, move around in your spine. Let's find our warming twist. Reach that arm up. Exhale, slide the arm under. Twisting the spine, full breaths. And again, modify this any way your body wants to today. Maybe you're facing the ground more and stretching your shoulder more. Maybe you're deepening the twist by pressing your hand down or bringing your arm behind your back. So just find the path. And then relax that. Inhale, arm up. Hand comes down. Let's switch sides. Arm high. Exhale, slide that arm under. Gaze toward the floor. Breathing deeply. A full breath in. A full breath out. Let's go ahead and reach that arm all the way up to the sky again. Hand down onto the ground. Let's find a dog pose. So as you lift up, let's say hello to your legs. And again, deep gratitude for your body today. Let's enjoy the fact that we're able to be in this plane and feel our human experience through having a body. So ground, feel the roots, feel that connection you have with the earth, and then feel the extension and space and length that you have. Feel free to pedal your feet. Open up the calves. Feel all that muscular lengthening. What a nice feeling to sense the sensation of stretch. Open up in any places that you feel a little compressed or tight. All right, walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Bend your knees. Melt your skull. Inhale for a halfway lift, feeling that length. Lift your femur bones up and back. And exhale and relax to fold again. Push off your feet, rising up. Bring the arms to the sky. Extend, open up, reach back. Let's cactus open so we feel the back of our body. What's back there? And then take your hands at the base of your skull. Open up your elbows and just tip back into a back bend a little bit. Support your head, opening the chest, and then reach the arms up high again and melt to come forward. Inhale for a halfway lift, growing a little bit longer in your spine again. Exhale and fold. Let's step the left foot back, come into a lunge, finding that sense of length in your legs. Modify in any way you need. You can put your knee down if you need to. We'll start to move, bending and straightening the front knee, just enjoying the sensation of movement, not just a static hold stretch, but letting your joints open up. All right, round your legs in your lunge. Feel your roots. Settle into your feet. And when you're ready, reach your arms upward and feel that extension. Feel the rising tide of your heart. So remember, we're not collapsing. Try not to shrink, but open and extend. Hands come down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Fold again. Notice your body opening and loosening as we go. A halfway lift again. Melt and fold. Stepping your other foot back, left foot is now in front, right leg behind. Open heart, feel into your lunge, feel that back leg open wide. And And then let's start to move here. Hamstrings of that front leg opening, hip flexors of the back leg opening. Our breath is guiding, feeling those joints change shape in your spine, in your hips, in your knee. Round your legs, feel your deep roots, and when you feel stable, rise up, crescent lunge. Arms coming upward, feel that extension. Maybe you're hooking your hands, maybe your hands are out wide, maybe they're at your hips. So find the pathways that are right for you for today. And then release your hands down onto the ground, dog pose. A full long spine, stretch through your body, root and rise. Come forward into a plank, feeling that grounded stability here. Push your shoulders away from your ears, push your hands into the ground. Let your inner thighs lift toward the sky. And then knees down to the ground, find the earth. Couple of shoulder rolls so we know that we're mobile in that thoracic spine and shoulder blades. Inhale for a cobra pose. Melting and folding. One of the greatest honorings we can do for all those who have come before us is to take care of ourselves. Think about how much happened for you to be here on this plane, and how much your parents and grandparents want and wanted when you were younger for you to be healthy and strong. Let's honor that memory or that living memory with our current caring of self. Relax and fold. Come up onto all fours. Wag your tail a little bit. Move around in your ribs and find your way back to a child's pose. Settle your hips down and feel that opening in your back. Breathe well. Curl toes under. One more time to a dog. And then walk your feet forward. Come all the way up to stand, reaching the arms to the sky. And then just find Tadasana. So just notice all the places that you've already touched your awareness in your body. Do you feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more present, a little bit more free? Feel your breath rise and fall. Let's take our legs wide, so turn sideways on the mat, and we're just going to go into a deep squat here, opening up the inner thighs a little bit. And feel free to rock your weight into your left and right. That feels nice, just opening up the hips. Feel your back lengthen. Ground through the four corners of your feet. And inhale and come back up to stand. Okay, so staying upright for a moment, find yourself in a standing star. Imagine that all six of your limbs, your hands, your feet, your crown, your tail, can expand way beyond your body. Turn your feet out a little bit and let's move through some goddesses, dropping down, feeling the ground. And then rising up, feeling your breath. And you go as far down, and you can do whatever you want with your arms. This is just how I tend to feel that energy of the vayus, where we drop down and we rise up. But maybe a different arm position is better for you. Okay, so the most important thing that you're doing here is breathing. And we're also trying to stay upright with our torso, where we're not leaning over. So just go to where your hips and your legs can manage supporting you. Start to feel your way into that grounding, this deep work of the legs. And the next time you come down, hopefully you're warmed up enough from those moving goddesses to stay for a moment.
All right, so ground into your feet. Put your hands anywhere you want. Feel the roots. Pull open your knees. See what it feels like to stay upright, that stout, open heart. Drop your hips a little bit lower. Feel the work of your legs. Relax the base of your skull. Good, and then climb all the way up. Nice warm legs here. We're going to turn to the side and find our way into Parsva Konasana. Elbow on your knee, stretch your arm overhead, and enjoy all the space and length you have in your body. Round through both feet. Try not to lose sight of either one of them. Keeping that hip open so we're tracking our knee in line with the middle toe or toes. See if you can feel the whole side of your body lengthen. Inhale, come out of there. A reverse triangle pose. Reach your arm up and tip back a little bit, and then find a full triangle pose. And you can have your hand on a block if you'd like. You can have your hand on your leg. So find the support that your body needs and enjoy the stretching open of your hamstring. See if you can root through your back foot well so you're grounding yourself. Feel that connection into the lumbar spine. Open your crown, open your tail, feel the length of your body. And we'll come back, reversing that triangle pose one more time. Hand up this time, Virabhadrasana. So come into your posture, drop your shoulders. Remember your back hip can turn a little bit if you need it. You don't have to feel like you're splaying your hips out. Okay, root into the four corners of both feet. Soften your shoulders. Gaze out, laser focus over your middle finger. Send that energy outward. Both hands. See if you can direct energy straight out from your heart into your fingertips. Root down, rise up. Crown is lifting, tail and feet are descending. And let's reverse warrior here. Keep your knee bent and just open up into that side of your body. And straighten your leg one more time. Let's take a turn and move to the other side with these standing poses. And adjust. You might need a little bit different placement of your feet going from one side to the other. All right, so bend your knee, elbow on your knee, stretch open through your spine, reach that arm over your head. These standing poses are so nourishing. They're deeply grounding for our bodies. It gets us really, hopefully, feeling our physicality, this celebration and gratitude for our muscular strength, our capacity to take up a lot of space, to support ourselves, to feel that deep connection to the ground. Feel your breath. Feel the opening of your side body. Soften your shoulders. Root into your feet well. See if you can get into all the little nooks and crannies of your hips, feeling all those muscles activate. Push off your feet, straighten your leg, a reverse triangle pose. Stretch open through that side and then turn this into a triangle. Block if you'd like, under your hand, hand on your leg, whatever feels right. Shoulders away from the ears, tail away from the crown. As you lengthen the spine and let your body open, don't forget about your legs. Root into the feet. Press that big toe mound down. Try to unlock your knee so that we're not hyperextending and kind of leaning into that hip. Feel your femur bone nestle up into the hip joint, but then lengthen out of your pelvis with your spine so we're not sinking into that hip joint. Ready, let's climb out of there. One more time for a reverse triangle pose, extend and open, and then let's find our way into Virabhadrasana 2. Again, gazing out over your middle finger and relaxing the shoulders down. Can you make that connection of heart to your hands? Don't worry about how deep into lunge. Maybe you need to back off a little bit. Maybe you'd like to go deeper, but think less about depth and more about space. Okay, so feel a sense of stability and spaciousness before all else. Notice your breathing. Try to get into those nooks and crannies of your hip. Melt your neck. If you have any tension there, see what you can do to soften. Breathing well. Straighten back up. This time, turn your feet forward. Let's have a rest. Hands on your blocks or on the ground, however you like to be for a Pasrita. So you can come low with your head and your body. You can come a little higher and have more support. You can bring your arms out like dog pose if you want, or hands directly underneath your pelvis in between your feet. Just find the pathway that works to let yourself rest in this pose. Nice wide legs. Climbing all the way back up onto the blocks so you feel that extension in your spine. And with your hands either on the ground or on blocks, your choice. We're going to bend deeply into your right knee. And depending on you, you might come all the way down where you kind of lift up your toes of that opposite foot, but this might be a little too deep in the knee joint and hip joint for some. So just find however deep you want to go here. Lengthening the heart, lifting your chest. Feeling that inner thigh stretch a little bit. And then coming back, walk your hands over to the other side. Maybe you go super deep in the knee joint. Maybe you're a little higher. Your choice. Hands can be on the ground or on blocks. Heart is lifting forward. Feel the inner thigh open up here. And then come back to neutral. One more deep squat, like we started with these standing poses, elbows inside your knees. And come all the way up to standing star. Last of the standing poses we'll do here. Come into a goddess one more time. Bring your hands wherever you want them to be, and you can be as low or as high. Everything is very different depending on where you go. The sensation in your hips will change depending on your depth. So find your sweet spot. One is not better than the other, just different. All right, and stand up. And let's turn back to the front of your mat and bring your legs closer for a dog pose. So as you come out of those standing poses and find a little bit more neutrality in your hips, maybe you want to take your feet wide and turn your toes in and let your hips go the other direction into that internal rotation. Just see what works. Maybe you're neutral. Eventually, we're all going to find the neutral legs, feet hip width apart. Come forward into a plank as you're ready. Shoulders over your wrists. Engage through your core. Put your knees down onto the ground and find the earth. A few shoulder rolls here. And then open up to a cobra when you're ready, or any back bend that serves you. Come back down. And do some nice kind of deep work in the hips now. Okay, so bring your left knee up high toward your armpit. Okay. And then stay low and imagine that someone's hand was pressing on the backside of your pelvis to really drop some weight into that hip joint. Breathing deeply. Then we're Going to just change this a little bit from what we normally do. I'm gonna give you three choices. You can turn, or two choices. You're gonna lengthen over to the right with your torso, or you could, if you want something deeper, you can bring your right hand onto the ground and drop your left shoulder down, almost like you're gonna thread the needle this way. That's another choice. And just see, what does your hip want right now? And whatever you're doing, let's go ahead and come out of that, and we're gonna find the twist. So thread your left arm, or I'm sorry, right arm underneath you and twist open. All right, so much goodness comes when you open your chest, right? So let's enjoy this feeling of a deep opening across your pecs. Breathe deeply. And come back around. Bring your other hip up. So right knee toward right armpit. Stay low in your torso. And you might feel, depending on your hips and knees, that this feels very different. And so whatever you're feeling, just be where you are. Then we'll choose the same pathway. So either walk your arms over to the left, which will free up some space in your back and just give you a nice soft opening. Or if you want to kind of experiment with going a little deeper, take from neutral your right arm and cross it under like you're trying to thread your needle here. Whatever you're doing, you're coming back now, and we're going to thread the left arm underneath. So thread the needle and then open up into your twist. All right, so a giant opening across your pecs. Let's just enjoy. Feel free to move your arm around and find your sweet spot. Make sure you're breathing well. And then come back around again. Up onto all fours. Move your spine around. Let go of what we just did. And then come back to sit. So you can sit in Virasana for a moment just to kind of compress your legs after the standing poses. You can be sitting on your feet or on your block. And if that doesn't work for your knees, that's okay. We're all going to, in a moment, grab a blanket and sit on it. So you can just go start there if you don't want the moment of Virasana. Again, stout open heart. Go ahead and bring your blanket now underneath your pelvis. And take the soles of your feet together, and we'll have them a little further away. So we are going to do Baddha Konasana, but in a moment. So first just start with your diamond shape or square shape in between your legs. Keep the spine really lifted as you move your elbows down into your inner knees to open yourself up into this stretch. Find your breath, maybe a little bit of maneuvering in your pelvis. If you need to kind of rock left and right to get things loosened, that's fine too. Full breath in, full breath away. Back up. So bring the soles of your feet a little closer, hands behind you. So sitting up on the edge of the blanket really does help with this. Drop your knees, open up the soles of your feet, pull your big toes away from each other, pinky toe side of your foot moving toward each other. See if you could move with energy your knees down toward the ground. Just kind of creating that external rotation in the hip joints. Chest is open. And relax. Now, fire log, or, so I'll start, in the easier version and move my way in. So you can start with your right foot on the ground, your left foot on your right knees, like reverse pigeon pose, hands behind you on the ground. And then you can deepen this if you want by either moving your torso up, so hands closer to your pelvis, or putting your foot on a block, your right foot on a block. So you can kind of dole out the stretch. And then if you need or want a little more, you can come down into fire log where you stack your shins. Inner ankle loses its wrinkles, finding the lift of your spine. So anywhere along that pathway, whatever's going to feel good for your hips today. Feel your breath, lengthen upward. Of course, if you want to do some of that PNF stretching, you can press your feet into your hands, hands into your feet, and then release and lengthen and deepen and do it again. So any of those pathways that help you to kind of open up, try to get into the nooks and crannies of those hip joints, and notice your connection of your hips and your SI joints and your back, like all this working together. Make sure you're not compressing and sinking, but lifting and lengthening. And if anything, tip a little anteriorly in your pelvis instead of rolling back posteriorly. Okay. As you meet up against resistance, just breathe. All right, and then let's find our way to the other side. Something I've noticed over the years, and I've seen in lots of other people too, is that sometimes when your back hurts, if you can do a little work on your hips, it can help. It's not like the only thing, but remember, if your low back is having some need for nourishment, to not just focus on your low back, but to focus on your hips and your hamstrings and your hip flexors as well. Everything's interrelated. So find, whichever variation you're doing, whatever you did on the other side, see if you can match that here. And maybe you can't match it. Maybe your hips are very different, and that's okay too. So just, be where you are. Whatever you're doing, the spine stays long, a slight anterior tilt of the pelvis, melting the shoulders, and finding your breath. So be in this pose, be in the sensations of your body. Sometimes if you meet up against resistance, the best thing you can do is just lengthen those exhales, relax your shoulders, relax your face, just find anywhere that tension is creeping a little bit and melt. It always amazes me when I see people just kind of comfortably sitting in this position. Some people's hips are so crazy open, and others of us like me have to really work to maintain that openness in your hips. So just appreciate wherever you are in that journey. Out of the pose, stretch your legs straight, maybe give them a little shake or a little wobble, and whatever feels really nice. You might need a block for this and a strap for this. Janu Shirshasana. So if your knee, hopefully after all that hip work we just did, your leg is relaxed in an external rotation. But if you still feel some support, you can stick a block underneath your knee. So right leg is straight, left foot is against the inner thigh of your right leg with that knee out to the side. Grab a strap, put it around your foot, and if you don't have a strap, you can just put your hands on the ground and kind of tug on the ground. So whatever works for your body. Let's feel the extension and length. So think less again about going down and more about coming up. So the long spine, and as you lengthen forward, be very mindful that you're not collapsing, that you're not rolling the pelvis back. See if you can maintain that anterior tilt of the pelvis. Sometimes I like to take my right hand and push it on the ground to help me lift, and only hold the strap with my left hand. So you find the passageway. There's a little twist in here. Don't forget about that. Drop even weight in your sit bones. Let that bent left knee soften toward the ground. Back up. Let's take our leg out to the side now. So hopefully all that inner thigh work we did earlier has prepared you for this. Let's feel the reach in your body and tip over to the side. Imagine someone's hand, a lot of weight dropping down into the head of your left femur bone. Sometimes I just keep my hand there instead of lifting it over my head to remind myself to sink there. So just depending on what, your low back muscles are feeling today, what your inner thigh muscles are feeling like, find the pose that's right for you. Either the arms stretching over or the hand rooting your hip down. And come all the way back up. Bring that leg forward. Take the strap off, straighten your left leg, and have a moment to just wobble your legs. Let's change sides. Bring your right foot against your left inner thigh. You can support underneath your right knee if you need it. We're on the edge of a blanket. And the purpose of the blanket is really to help us tip the pelvis into an anterior tilt, so like spilling the bowl of your pelvis forward. This will help you maintain neutrality in your low back. A lot of times when we do forward bends, we tend to roll back on our pelvis, and that puts a lot of pressure on the lumbar spine. So let's maintain that anterior tilt of the pelvis. Wrap a strap around your foot if you'd like. Feel the lift up. Use the strap to help you anchor so that you can lift through your spine, opening up through that hamstring, the calf, flex your toes. And as you come forward, be so mindful that you're protecting your back along the way. So core is engaged, your leg is pressing down, engage your quads, turn and twist just the teeniest bit toward that straight leg. Remember that anterior tilt of the pelvis. So we're not collapsing, we're not falling. The goal of the pose is not to come deep. The goal of the pose is to find length, space, and stability. Your core will help your low back, so engage. Try not to just be soft in your belly, but find some strength. Root your whole leg down. How's your breath? Come back up and let's take the leg out to the side. Wrap that strap around your foot and decide again whether you want to stretch your arm overhead and tip a little bit toward the right, toward the left, or if you'd rather drop weight and anchor through your right femur bone. So find what works for you. Kind of check in with that deep low back muscle, your quadratus lumborum. Make sure that you're on the fronts of your sit bones instead of rolling back onto your sacrum. Open your body up. Isn't it a blessing to have these muscles supple and long? Back to neutral. Keep your left leg where it's at and bring your right leg out with it. Now, of course, I forgot to mention to have your blocks handy, so hopefully they're handy and you can find them. And we're going to try to just make a little stack in front of us where this pose can get restorative. Okay, so you could stack blocks like I'm doing with your head and your hands, elbows on your blocks. Maybe you go lower than that. Maybe you go higher than that. So it doesn't matter. We don't want to overstrain our inner hamstrings. Still on the edge of the blanket so that our pelvic bowl is tilted a little bit. And then find a deep stretch, but not an overstretch. So back away from your edge so that you're not taxing the the tendons of your hamstrings. Right now, whatever you're doing, support your head. So it could mean your actual head's on a block. It could mean that your elbows are on a block with your head in your hands. So find the support that you need so your head can relax. And try not to go to your edge, back away from your edge. Full breaths here. Engage your quads, flex your feet, drop your pelvis down, long spine. To sit back up, grab your legs and sit cross-legged for a moment. And of course, if this is not comfortable, you can have a different path with your legs. Okay, we're gonna reach up with our right arm, bring it to the outside of our knee, our left hand's behind us, and just enjoy a simple twist. Full breaths here. Coming back up. Other side, bring the left hand to the right knee. Twisting open. Back to center. A little adjustment in our legs. We're going to bring our feet over to the right and just get the blanket underneath your left sit bone so your right sit bone can hang down in the pocket. Reaching that arm up, right arm up, reach and then bring it to the outside of the knee and twist again. Open up through your heart. Drop the shoulders. Back to center, and we'll change sides. So bring the blanket over to the other side, drop your feet over to the left, then right sit bone is supported by a blanket. Right hand behind you, left arm in the air, feel that length, and then bring the hand to the outside of the knee. And as always, there's so many variations. You can bring your hand to the inside of your left knee instead of the outside of your right knee if that's better for your body. You can take your hand behind your back and grab, right hand grabs onto the elbow and take the twist with your hand arm bound. So, find the passages that feel good in your body. For me personally, shoulder binds just really don't work well for my shoulders, but maybe for your shoulders, they feel fabulous. All right, let's come back round again. Come on out of there. And we're gonna find our way to the ground on your back. Knees to your chest, and just kind of check in. We have time for another short pose, so put your feet on the ground, neutral legs, knees up in the air, feet on the ground, and just ask, is there anything else your body needs? Sometimes after the poses we just did, I like to lift my pelvis up into a low bridge and shake. And sometimes I like to put my pelvis up on a low block. Sometimes I like happy baby pose. Sometimes I just like to stretch out into a star. So follow your instincts. And then when you feel ready, whenever the time comes, Shavasana is here for you. So as you rest your body, notice if you're warm, notice if the lighting is good, where you're not having direct light on your eyes. Notice if you need any support, like something under your knees or under your head. So just finding the pathway in your body that works well for you. Once you settle yourself in Shavasana,
kind of squirm around until you feel like, oh, now this is a good place where I can be still. And when you find that, don't freeze yourself. If you need to wiggle or move, then great. So we don't want to have a frozen posture. We want to have a breathing, melting posture. All your limbs dropping, your head dropping, your pelvis dropping, your spine dropping. Sense of freedom through your belly and your heart as you breathe. Keep melting your face as best as you can. Feel the nourishment of Shavasana. Feel free to start moving your feet, your hands, or any part of your body that you want to invite into movement. As you roll to your side, take a moment, curl yourself into a side little ball. Have a breath there. You feel just sense of peace, grounding, gratitude. When you're ready, slowly, slowly invite yourself up. Take your time. Into a comfortable seat. And again, offer your open self. Let's recognize the river that we live within, those that have come before us, so that we may be able to be our best selves, to offer ourselves freely to the world, to those that come after us and beside us.
So feel yourself in the web of life, in the flow of generations. Bring your hands together and let's bless all those who have come before us in gratitude for all they've offered us. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.